Hey guys, and welcome back to the Blue Podcast. This is the Blue Show. Unfortunately, you're stuck with me today because unfortunately Tom's not feeling too hot. We send our thoughts and prayers and all that kind of cringy stuff. I hope he gets better soon. But today I'm joined by Isaac. We've got Lloyd, and this guy's here as well.
Hi guys. So you're relishing Tom's gone, aren't you?
Yeah, oh mate, back in the hot seat.
So
I love a host.
I know none of you have any strong allegiances. I know you've got allegiances against. But how's everyone feeling after last night's games, Champions League matches?
That's crazy. Like, I didn't even watch. I fell asleep. I was.
Oh really?
I was like
kind of happy,
really.
I suppose, given City dominated and then didn't win. I suppose.
But do you know what? I love a rough match as long as the referee is fair, and that's what it was. It was constant from both sides, but both being fairly judged, fairly punished. So it was very, very exciting.
I mean, as a Man United fan and a Roy Keane fan, I prefer it. I mean, give me as many leg breaks in the game as possible. But
it was all so clean. Nothing was dirty. Nothing was dirty. It was rough.
But
there was lots of
apart from Chouameni's random just smashing into Grealish a minute into the game.
No, but I think for Henry, I think the dirtier the tackle, the better.
Oh yeah,
he loves it.
Loves a
big
Brexit geezer.
I mean, let's just say Roy Keane and then Eric Cantona were my heroes. Like, I go.
What about Joey Barton? Joey Barton? No.
Especially recently.
But getting off my favourite things. Into the show today. It's a pretty interesting topic, I think. We're going to be predicting or saying what our England squads would be for the upcoming Euros tournament. So we've each picked a 23-man squad, and we're going to go through it position by position and say who we think's getting in at each position for the England team. And then we'll have to find some way of showing which one's the best. And we'll get into that a bit later on. But let's kick this thing off with goalkeepers. Obviously, I think it's a good place to start. Yep. Isaac, down the end.
Yeah, so obviously Pickford is starting for me. I thought Ramsdale last season was strong, but he hasn't played this year. So I don't think he should even be on the plane. I don't think you can take a goalkeeper who has lost his position in the way that Ramsdale has as a backup. He's just going to be shaky when called upon. So Pickford starting for me, and then I've got Jason Steele.
Ooh.
Not the best with his hands, but what we need is someone with our feet. We conceded so few goals in the last couple of tournaments. Goalkeeper isn't our biggest issue, and with the strong defence in front of him, Jason Steele has some of the best passing numbers in the league. So if he's good enough for De Zerbi, he's good enough for me. And then third pick, I've gone with Dean Henderson. Again, really good with his feet and a decent enough shot stopper.
So sacrificing that goalkeeping ability for that passing ability.
And this is what Crystal Palace have done this season. It's between Sam Johnston and Henderson, and I think that is the same with the England squad. And I don't know why Southgate went with Johnson because that's not what he favours, and that's why Pope didn't do well in the England squad. So
you're saying that if Johnson's fit, he still doesn't go. He'd rather have Henderson.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Safe pair of feet.
Let's take a step down the line then.
Yeah.
Lloyd,
I've got a bit different. I do have Ramsdale in. I know he's not played a lot this season, but for me, I still think he is a good goalkeeper. As you said, he can be a little bit error-prone at times, but I feel like, what he did at Arsenal last year was very, very impressive, and I still think that he should be given a chance. And I did go for Nick Pope. Don't be wrong, not that great with the ball at his feet, but he's a very good shot stopper for me.
He's barely played, though.
Yeah, I
know.
Both
of them,
it
both
is a
your
risk.
backups.
It is a risk, but I feel like Pope is going to get back late April. They'll have a couple games in before. I feel like you can, if all goes wrong, you could call upon him to make some pretty important stops for England if we need it.
Yeah. Good decision. Loving the shirt, by the way, mate. Very
retro moment.
One of mine.
Borrow that.
And we've got the New England shirt on the end there.
Yeah, that's a nice.
Few different eras going.
This is a bit of a depressing shirt because this is the one we wore
Iceland.
Iceland.
This is a great shirt.
I mean, yeah, obviously, but let's not talk about Chelsea now. I don't want to get
so quickly,
today.
Who do you think of in that shirt?
Wayne Rooney.
Yeah,
Vardy.
It was Vardy as well.
Yeah, Vardy.
Welbeck played in this one. Sturridge. That
Sturridge
Sturridge goal against Wales.
Yeah.
I think because we didn't see him in many other England shirts, it's got to be Vardy for me in that one.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's
true.
linked with depression, but actually it's a pretty nice kit, and it's also the first England kit I ever had. So
actually,
that's why I'm wearing it today. And also, they bought me like a men's large when I was like 12 or 13 or whatever age I was, and it was massive on me. And now it's
grown into it.
Now it fits me. So
nice.
Wear that one. Yeah, we're not going to talk about the Chelsea shirt because that's just going to depress me. But
yeah, I mean that was the idea.
Who's your goalkeepers for?
My goalkeepers, I've got a mix of both Isaacs and Lloyd's.
Nice.
I stuck with Pickford as well, as much as I don't know. I feel like we can have a better keeper. I think he just does the job.
He's been solid for England.
He has been for England.
And he's pulled Everton out of some dark patches as well. So.
And I've also gone for Nick Pope. With the same idea. I think it was a game against Chelsea this season. Saved every fucking thing, man. And it's just like, if we need someone to like come in and just like, you know, save shots, you don't give a fuck about attacking anymore. You can put Pope and you can trust him. Hopefully he gets a couple of games in April, like you said.
Yeah.
And lastly, I went for Dean Henderson.
Yeah.
I just think, again, if we need a direct like swap, if you don't want Pickford on, you have someone that's comfortable with the ball off his feet as well. Dean Henderson's a good shot stopper as well. So.
Interestingly, Dean Henderson has cost his team, I think it's 7 goals this season.
Oh really?
He's in the bottom 5 goalkeepers in the league in terms of goals conceded that are his fault. The worst being obviously Flecken, and then the best being, I think it's Jose Sarr at the moment.
No, really?
Yeah, weirdly enough.
Oh, he's got a bit
doing
backwards.
well. I mean, Areola's up there.
Yeah.
Onana's up there. I forget who the other one is. Doesn't matter. But I couldn't go with Henderson despite his former allegiance to me. I'm going to prefix this whole thing by saying that I've just gone full stats because I know these guys will bring the intelligent answers. I'm just going to go full stats. Screw it. Why not?
I'm not surprised here at all. I am not one bit surprised. This is
probably not what I would do if I was like being proper like intelligent. But like, if I do pure stats, it's gonna be funny, isn't it? Like, my starting goalkeeper, weirdly enough, is Jack Butland.
Starting goalkeeper.
He has the best. Out of the shortlist, he has the highest in 2 metrics, which is save rate and prevented goals per 90, with 76% save percentage and 0.1 goals a game. He has 0.84 exits per 90.
He is doing this for
Rangers, but he's still doing it.
Bro,
and the other options like
they have a team that's literally just called Hearts in that league.
Hey, don't just Hearts.
Come on,
hey, this is I'm literally just picking the player with the best numbers here.
Yep.
The other 2 options, Jordan Pickford obviously gets in. I don't think he should start personally, just because his save percentage isn't even that great. Like, the one thing he's supposed to be doing is not great. So if I was being intelligent, I'd probably start Nick Pope, who's my 3rd option. It's again got the highest save percentage and the highest exits per 90, which I think is key, because you were saying earlier about Pope not being the best with his feet, but gets the ball out most with his feet. So I think he's probably fine.
It's those, I think, remembering back to probably the worst England match I've ever watched was England-Hungary, the 4-0 defeat.
Oh, yeah.
And that was pretty much
that.
entirely on Nick Pope. It was one of his only games he's played for England. And I think at Newcastle it works because they've got that blend of like kind of counter-attacking, kind of possession-based, but he is called upon to make those saves, but he just gets the ball out to the defenders and they will do the rest for it. So I think like that, I went mainly on, I mean, Pickford just for his England heritage, and I think you need that. And we'll see later on, there's a couple more picks that are in there for that reason.
Heritage and performance-wise, Pickford definitely gets a spot on the play. I don't think anybody here can argue
his balance, he's not a pure shot stopper, and he's not a pure sweeper, but I think his balance works well for international football.
Well, I think also like, we've seen Pickford make some important saves for England over the last 8 years, 10 years.
Some of them are a little too dramatic. That back to the Colombia goal. Because he saved a shot. A very impressive save, but the ball was not going in the goal. But yeah, it was. I still stick with them.
I was sat outside Disneyland Paris on a school trip, and everyone else had gone to watch the big fireworks they do outside the castle, and it was just me and this one other bloke sat in a pub just outside Disneyland Paris watching us beat Colombia on penalties, and I was loving it. Oh, that was such a special day. Okay, then so. Some interesting options there. Yeah. Very interesting options. Just to prefix this again, because I forgot to tell you, stats-wise, I've set my minutes to minimum 13,500.
Yeah. Right.
So only play. Okay. So that's why Ramsdale wasn't even mentioned for me because he's
not played enough. I think that is very important, especially as a backup goalkeeper.
Yeah. Because there were some players when I made the TikTok. If you want to see it, by the way, you can check it out on our TikTok pages. When I made the TikTok, I included players like Jack Grealish. Not played enough minutes. Ramsdale again, not played enough minutes. So it's excluding those kind of injured players, so that only the fit players are going to be playing. Let's move on to the defenders then. Why don't we move back up this way this time? So Dan, why don't you kick us off?
So the defense, I have 2 right backs technically and 2 left backs. I'll go with that first.
Yep, go for it.
So my left backs, I have just gone with Luke Shaw and Chilwell, both very injury prone, and both might not even make it. Who knows at this rate? But I've stuck with them. I think they're both fit. I think they both are the best options we have for left back at the moment, which isn't the best options, but is the best we have. Centre backs, I'll go with. I had Levi Colwill and Mark Gahey for left centre back, more or less. And then for right centre backs, they have John Stones and Fikayo Tomori. Pretty solid, all four of them. I think starting wise, I'd go with John Stones and Colwill if I had a choice. I think Colwill's been important for Chelsea. Without him, the last few weeks we've conceded stupid goals. Buddy Shields come in and done fuck all. So waste his time really. We miss Colwill. Yeah, and he can also fill in at left back if ever needed, which is a decent shout to put in there, considering how injury prone these two are and how shit they can play if they want to play. Really
that's been important for my picks as well in terms of flexibility.
And right backs, I've gone with Trent. Obviously, I think when he's fit, he's a brilliant player. Attacking wise, defensively maybe he needs some help, but it's okay. And I've gone with Reece James as well, because I think when he's fit, and he should be fit by the time it comes round.
That's interesting.
You're going to be playing 3 at the back the whole tournament. Yep. None of those are making it.
Because Reece, like, if he does make it though, because he's supposed to be back. It was supposed to be back end of March, but they've postponed it a bit. Yeah. So he should be back in April, hopefully.
I just don't know with him.
But I'm just thinking, if he's fully fit, right? I think he's one of the best players you have at defence there.
But didn't he get sent off earlier on in the season? Like one game he got sent off, I swear.
I forget.
I swear he got sent off.
It rings a bell.
This season.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's just like, man, with him, like he's good, isn't he? But he's just injured all the time.
Yeah, but that's the only bad thing anyone can ever say about Reece James. He's injured all the time. If you can only say that, what the fuck's bad about him?
On his day, you know what I mean? Very impressive.
Like, that's what I mean. And there's a lot of those days when he's fit.
Yeah, but like, when is he supposed to be back?
He's supposed to be back end of March. But he's had his surgery done this time and not just done rehab.
But
and that's
how
why he's been
many
out for
games
so
is he
long.
going to get?
Well, that's the thing. He needs to get.
How many games is he going to get
this
before
very
the turbulent Chelsea team as well?
Especially with Gusto playing well.
I am surprised how many Chelsea players made it into my team. I'm not going to lie. There were quite a few of them. But I don't... I mean,
I've put him in purely if he is fully fit. I don't know if he starts, because I think Trent would start still, just because of the game time thing.
Yeah.
But I would trust him. Like, he's a fucking player, bro, when he wants to play.
Well, speaking of Trent, let's move on to the Liverpool fan.
Yeah, well, he's definitely in there, first of all.
I was going to assume that.
100% he's in.
There's no way you would leave him out.
I've got 3 right backs. I've got Walker and I've got Trippier, and I would play Trippier at left back, potentially. That's what I would do. I think that's the best possible thing, because the left backs just ain't been great, apart.
Not worried about his poor form?
Not really. He had a poor spell for about 3 weeks, didn't he, where he was just terrible. But apart from that, it's been...
I think Newcastle have just been like that this year. Everyone in the Newcastle team has had a few weeks where they've just... And there's been injuries. There's been...
There have been loads of defensive injuries from Newcastle as well.
I think Pope has always been able to cover those up, because Pope has always... got them out of that situation.
The thing for me with Trippier at left back is, like, whenever I've seen him play left back for England, it's just as good as a Ben Chilwell or Luke Shaw. There's not much difference really. And I think the left foot offers a bit more on that side if you were to be a full back. That's the only reason I wouldn't put Trippier there. Yeah, because he's not been outstanding there.
No, I mean, I wouldn't end up starting Trippier at left back.
No. Ideally, you wouldn't.
Luke Shaw. Because Luke Shaw's still not played a lot, is he? Because he's been constantly injured as well. But
I mean,
I would still have him because, previous stuff that he's done for England, he's been quite reliable. I mean,
Roberto Carlos, bro.
Yeah,
when he wants to be.
That picture with the kind of the Ronaldo haircut, it's just his face. Art. Yeah. Hang it in the Louvre.
When he scored in that final, bro, when he scored against Italy, it was
genuinely.
I was still trying to get the stream working at that point. It was so close to the start of the match.
I was on my way home from work. I missed it. I heard we were driving through town and we heard the pubs go like that, and I was like,
gosh,
shit,
that's rough.
That's crazy.
I genuinely think when that goal hit the back.
I don't know why that was so graphic.
Just a tad. Just
when
you
said that, it just got really graphic.
Might want to bleep that one.
That was so. Too much.
Too
many images have flashed in my head now.
Don't think about it. I didn't think to think about it.
Let's get back to the centre backs. I'm gonna go for Stones. I'd have Tomori. I would have Harry Maguire just for experience, based off of when he does play for England. He does do well, and I am gonna have Levi Colwill as well. Actually, I think he's a really solid pick.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I've gone quite different. I actually have not taken either Shaw or Chilwell. And either of them have played enough this year. I think they're both with a 26, 25 man squad, whatever it was last time.
Man squad.
No, but before.
Oh, before,
26.
Yeah. We could afford to take those players. We could afford to take Calvin Phillips, even though he'd barely played, because he offered something that we were lacking. I think when it is this tight, and also with the change in Premier League squads this year, we've seen Lindelof be United's left back for most of the year. Unsuccessfully, but it shows, and I think that will probably happen a lot at the World Cup as well.
Yeah.
So
Are you about to steal my thunder here? I think you're about to steal my thunder.
For that reason, I've included Joe Gomez in the squad because he's played left back
Interesting.
very well. I thought a Liverpool City match, I thought Joe Gomez was one of the standout players. He played quite a few of those like cross-field passes, which to an inside forward, if you're right-footed, are really, really effective from that left-hand side because you can get it to, go down the wing better. So I've got Joe Gomez as one of my options. I think flexibility is what we need, and we need to be able to move players around. That's what Pep does. That's what Klopp does. They move the defenders around, change different things. So Stone's obviously in there. You can play DM. You can play right back. You can play left back if you need him to. I've gone with Walker and Trippier as my right backs. Obviously Trippier with that left back ability, and I think Kyle Walker just for his pace, just for his defensive ability, and again being able to play at centre back.
Right.
I've not taken Trent. He's been too injury prone. He's been fantastic, but I think he is he's too much of a defensive liability. And I've always kind of like poo-pooed people when they talk about this, but it is a testament to the Liverpool defence and kind of shows why they've been able to be stable without him. Because Conor Bradley is quite good going forward, but also is better defensively than Trent.
Yeah.
And he has been dispossessed more than anyone in the league. He lets something like 3 or 4 dribbles per 90 past him. I don't always look at the stats, but he was at the top of the negatives list for a lot of these things, and he plays much more like a right mid than a right back. And I think for that reason, that's why Southgate hasn't used him in the past.
I just feel like
with a centre back moving into left back,
potentially
you could fit him in if you do that transitioning into a 3 and then having him push forward, and then maybe having like Foden on the left of midfield, something like that to make up for it. But I think in the way that we need to play for this tournament, I don't think he should be in there.
Okay. So did you take another left back in that squad? Because I don't think I heard one.
No, Trippier was
your other one?
My go-to left back, but I would probably actually play Gomez.
So your full-backs are Gomez, Trippier and Walker, is that it? Or did you pick?
And Stones potentially could go out there. And then I've got centre-backs. I've gone with, obviously, Stones and Gomez are both centre-backs as well. But I've gone with Branthwaite.
Yeah.
He's all of his defensive numbers. He is right up there, and I think he's at the perfect age to go in and make a difference. And again, he can play at left-back as well. Has done a few times this season.
Agreed.
Stats-wise, I would take Tarkowski. Experience-wise, I'd take Maguire.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
They both offer very similar things. Maguire's numbers are a lot worse than I thought they were, but I think he's really focused on his defensive game this year.
Yeah, he's not getting caught out. He's not pressing forward as much, although he's played the Martinez role a couple of times.
He's not trying his
and someone
dribbles.
else has been covering. They've made it work because what he's poor at is that he's got no pace at all. So he can't, if he steps up and doesn't get it right, usually he gets caught out, but they're able to cover for him, or he just sits there and just heads everything. And he's very manageable.
I was watching an analysis video of the United-Liverpool game and watching him commanding around Wan-Bissaka, commanding around his defenders to move and then filling in space. He's going, move over that, I'll cover over here. And he basically single-handedly cut out this thing. Casemiro was nowhere to be seen. And I think that, now he's got his confidence back as the England captain, which is, I think he should be, either him or Kane.
I don't think you can take it away from Kane personally. But that's just my opinion.
With the influence that he has in that squad, I think, because I'm missing out a couple of other major dressing room leaders, surprise, surprise, I think you need that experience in there, and he has been solid, and I would start him. I would start Maguire Stones. They've been so reliable. How many goals did we concede in the last tournament?
It wasn't very many.
No.
But there were a few against France. But
yeah. But before that point,
the problem is we need to start
France
pairing...
where like Chouameni's, no one could do anything about that. Really.
Oh mate, don't remind me. Give me a headache.
But yeah, I think obviously, I think Colwell's unlucky to miss out, but I think. Yeah, the defensive record of Chelsea hasn't done him any favours this year. If Chelsea were pushing for Europe, I think definitely young player pushing for Europe, big performances this year. But I think Chelsea's difficulties have definitely affected him, and Gay and Konsa also were also in there. But
I'm not seeing the Konsa thing personally. A lot of people back Konsa. I'm not seeing it personally, but I mean, I have got a leader in there, but it's not Maguire.
Oh,
I have taken. We'll do centre backs first because why not? I've taken the captain of a Premier League team as one of my centre backs, and it's not the team you think.
Is it Dawson?
It's not Dawson.
Because he was close as well.
Of Wolverhampton Wanderers,
Max
Kilman. Max Kilman in the numbers.
I thought Dawson was the captain of.
Wolves. No. It's Max Kilman. Is the young captain.
I did look at him.
He's their captain, and he is fantastic. Again, left-footed. I've taken 2 left-footed and 2 right-footed because I'm big on balance and splitting the centre backs with a DM dropping. Yeah. That's my kind of way. And then the way that works is that the wing backs then go very attacking, go up and wide, which of course we'll get onto, and that might indicate who I've taken. Mm-hmm. I've taken Kilman, and I've taken Colwill as his senior and the starter. In terms of defensive ability, obviously great, but his ball playing ability, his ability to play at left back, that not only cover, but also that ability to press into wide channels when you're attacking and then move the ball up through the centre back and free up the left back to really bomb. That's essential. On the right, John Stones had to go, although he didn't look great in the stats. He was enough to get in, but he didn't look like the best centre-back in the team. But I think that's because he's playing in midfield. So I vetoed it a little bit, and I said, okay, well, he's got to go, and I think he probably starts because when he goes back to centre-back, his numbers are going to pop.
I think if you look at his midfield numbers, his carries, he is very safe.
Because that's where he plays the season.
That's where he thrives,
Exactly. And actually, I took Tarkowski as his backup because it was either him or Dunk, and I think in the squad before I took Dunk, but Tarkowski's then now pushed back up ahead of him.
Dunk, I think, has been I was a Dunk fan because of his passing ability and because of his set piece threat, but looking at the Belgian game and the same thing against Roma, him just getting turned by Lukaku both times, same mistake, and 2 separate games.
Not quick or known for his ability to ball carry. He's Brighton have obviously looked not that great this season. Everton, weirdly enough, despite being one of the worst teams in the league, defensively are pretty solid, which is a Sean Dyche thing, I guess. But you have to take the informed player, and I think the informed player in the situation is Tarkowski, and I think he's the one to go for. So my right backs last time were Walker and who's the other one? James. None of them go for me this time.
Oh, really?
Walker does not go.
No,
but I didn't have Walker in mine either,
you did not, did
you?
No and yes. Because Walker doesn't go. I've taken his regen, Walker Peters, because he looked
in the Championship.
Yeah, I
have.
Out
of all the right backs,
I've gone with Walker
Peters. Walker Trippier trend,
and he's gone Walker Peters.
His crossing's okay, but he's got great interception numbers, great defensive duel numbers. His runs, his progressive runs. Sorry, he gets 3 more than Trent. Progressive runs. Of the pitch, 3 more a game, and then of course he's got 1.4 deep completions as well, which is not bad. I wouldn't start him because I would take Trent, and Trent would start again. This system of attacking fullbacks with the midfielder dropping works perfectly in this situation because you can afford to have Trent, who actually defensively he wins 58% of his defensive duels, which it's average but not great, but it's still not bad. He's getting 6 interceptions a game, which is 1 more than the next best, which is Walker Peters. If you play him on the press, playing right up against the attacker, he's able to win the ball high. And so you're not going to let him sit and then take people on like Wan-Bissaka would. 1-on-1s, he's not going to do anything. But if you sit him like pressing, always on the front foot, he will win the ball and he will be able to start counterattacks. Left backs, surprisingly, Shaw has enough minutes this season to qualify. So I've taken him because even when he does play, he is the best.
He is good. I think it's just a liability.
I thought you were going to steal my thunder and take another left back. Tyreek Mitchell gets on my team.
That's what I thought.
Underrated. No one considers him, but if you just look at the numbers and you ignore the top team bias,
defensively is fantastic.
Going forward as well.
He's his highest defensive duel rate out of all of these options for fullbacks. He gets 4.3 interceptions. He gets 29. He's got 29 crosses so far. 0.7 dribbles. 0.26 through balls and 0.6 deep completions. He's not going to be this creative monster, but if you wanted to move it to a 3, he could play left centre back, same as Shaw. I think he matches Shaw very, very well. And actually, his interceptions and defensive numbers look fantastic compared to everybody else. So I think Chilwell's too injured.
Yeah.
And there aren't any. Rico Henry's not great. Doherty's not great.
Henry's injured until the end of the season.
Is he
anyway.
now? I didn't know that.
That's why
Okay.
they got Reguilon.
Yeah. So Mitchell, I think, is the prime option personally.
Yeah.
Is that everything? Is that did I do them
Yeah.
all? Yeah, I did them all. So it would start.
So
for
no
me,
Trippier.
No Trippier for me.
So who's
Not
your,
been
like,
good enough this season, and he's been injured a bit.
who are your centre backs again?
Both sides. is
Your
just-
centre backs were.
So it would start as Trent, Shaw, Colwill, and Stones.
Right.
It would be my
Okay.
starting backline.
Okay.
So we both have all three of us have the same centre back.
I think it's starting. What? It's the
Well,
accompanying.
What's your starting?
It's
centre
the
backs?
sides. It's the
I'd
extras.
have Stones and Tomori.
Oh, I have Stones and Colwill.
Stones
I like
and
the left
Colwill.
foot. I'm
The
similar
thing
to
that worries me
you.
with him is just that he never gets picked by Southgate. He's made like 3 or
Yeah.
4 appearances.
But
which is just
By the
think-
numbers,
baffles
he
me.
doesn't get in. He doesn't get anywhere near in, which is weird. And neither does Branthwaite, which I was surprised about because I thought he would
Yeah.
get in. But
Yeah.
his numbers look good. And he got in, what was it, 2 months ago when I did the team
Yeah.
last on
Mhm.
TikTok. But this time, no, he doesn't because I think Kilman's just...
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
Kilman was good before, but he's just stepped up another level,
Yeah.
Yeah.
weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, let's move into our midfielders then. I don't know about you guys, but in my system there was a DM, a ball progressor, and a 10.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine can be flexible between the
Different
2,
systems.
1, and then.
But if you're
or a-
picking a starting 11, you pick 3 midfielders, 1 attacking, 1 defensive,
Yeah.
1 a bit of both.
Yeah.
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 Because the one thing I was thinking is some people are saying, "Oh, Madison and Bellingham is the midfield 2 with Rice in behind him, 2 attacking."
I
You're
don't
gonna
agree with that.
you're gonna get found out.
Mhm.
Okay, well you disagree. So why don't
I
you?
disagree,
Okay, you
kick
start
us
I
off?
first.
disagree with that.
then.
That would be my midfield 3 because I think Bellingham can play a little bit deeper.
Oh yeah.
But do you
Yeah,
not think you're
100%
wasting
can.
him a little
No,
bit?
I do not
No.
think because I think Maddison is that great as a creative outlet. Honestly, he creates so many chances for Tottenham in that system that they play because they're so attacking. I just want to see England just go for it. I want to see England
Okay.
attacking. I want to
Yeah.
see something different. I don't want to see us playing a 5-2-3 against Italy in the Euros final.
Yeah.
I don't want to see
Here's the thing,
defensive football.
You've got Rice, Bellingham,
I've got
Madison,
Rice, Bellingham,
and then who
Bellingham,
else?
Madison. I've got Kobe Mainu in
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
I would have him as the backup to Rice
Yep.
because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I have James Ward-Prowse in there personally.
Set piece ability is
I just
phenomenal.
think for him, he's an absolute workhorse as well. He runs himself into the ground. When he did it at Southampton, he was just absolutely everywhere. He has, I think he has what Gallagher has, and he has the set piece. sort
Yeah,
of stuff.
100%.
That's what I think. And I went for a bit of a rogue shout. I want to have Eze.
What as a 10?
I want to have Eze as a backup 10 to come
Ooh.
on.
He was
Creative
around.
player.
I've got a strange one in
Yeah.
place of Eze.
Okay, interesting.
So I didn't take.
Yeah, go on.
Okay,
Right.
go.
Tell-
Yeah, give us your whole midfield.
You just tease that now. You've got to tell us.
Yeah.
So my 3 would be ideally, and I actually wouldn't necessarily even play him as a 10. He could go into that 8 role. I would take Rice, obviously
Yeah,
as a
of course.
DM, as a 6, Bellingham, and Foden as my midfield 3.
Oh, okay, I was wondering what you were doing for a
But
second there.
it won't happen because Southgate came out and said, "Oh, Foden isn't a midfielder." His performances this season at 10 have been just so outstanding. What he has done in the last few games, his goal against Real Madrid,
Yeah, it was
very similar to his goal against Aston Villa, and he's proven that he can do that. And
It was a clone of the goal he scored against us. It was exactly the same.
he's just he has gotten so good at just picking out. He's so powerful, so fast, so strong.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't think Mainu is a 6. He works if he was alongside Rice, he wouldn't work as a Rice replacement, and he wouldn't be fit for those games where we need to rest Rice, maybe an easier game against. I don't. Has the groups been announced yet?
So, with the groups.
We've got Denmark. Is it
Yeah,
Serbia
Denmark.
and Slovenia? I
Yeah,
wanna say?
Yeah.
we've got 2 Eastern
It has been
European
announced.
ones.
It's definitely Denmark and Slovenia. I don't know about Serbia. I
So,
think it might be
so a
somebody else.
Slovenia match. We want to rest Rice. It's just before maybe he's got a couple of yellows. Don't want him to go
What
out.
are you doing?
We need a 6. We need an actual 6. And the best 6, he's not the best ball player in the league, but he was very, very close on a lot of defensive stuff as James
Yeah.
Garner.
Yes, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, that could
Yeah.
definitely be.
I love
Really
that.
surprised
Yeah,
me
yeah,
this
yeah.
season. It really surprised me because I've rated him. I've looked on like FOTMob and looked at the ratings after the matches, and he rarely gets above a 7. It's not. He's
mean-
not standing out on there, but he is solid as a backup 6. He is very, very solid.
I am very, very, very much aware of this player. Of course, he used to be Man United. He was fantastic for Nottingham Forest in the Championship in that promotion push.
Mm-hmm.
and then he came back for pre-season, and I was like, cool, we need a backup 6.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. We don't have to buy anybody. We can promote.
Yeah.
Sold to Everton.
Totally.
Stupid. The stupidest thing we've done in years. Genuinely. We could have had a Garner Mainu midfield, and that would be so much better right now. We would.
That would actually
right
be
now,
insane now compared
Garner
to what
would
it is.
start because Casemiro is shit right now. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's mental. But yeah, I back that.
I'd have those 2, and then my 4 centre mids. Because realistically, ideally, I'd like to play Bellingham Foden. I don't think it would happen. I think it's going to be Bellingham Gallagher, which I'd be happy with. I think if you push Bellingham forward and have Gallagher more as that workhorse box to box, that'd be fine. On a more creative, so I've got one more creative midfielder that isn't a 10, Angel Gomez.
Oh, yes.
He has everything. Passes,
Another
carries. I'm just
ex-Man
naming
United.
ex-Man
Yeah,
United
a lot of
players.
it.
Did he leave on a free?
Yes, because we didn't
contract
play him.
expiry.
We didn't play him. So,
So
he just left.
what he's got going for him, one of the best dribblers and passers
Yeah.
in the top 5 leagues. He's been playing.
He's moved from a 10.
Nice
He was
or
in our
Lille?
academy, and when he was out on loan, he was a 10.
Mm-hmm.
He's now a 6.
Yeah.
now 6. Yeah,
He's now
sort of
6.
6-8, sort of like he can play very similar
He's
to
a
that
deep
Bellingham
playing,
role.
If you know Football Manager, he's a
Yeah,
deep lying playmaker. He's a passer out from the back. But
he
he's
does
sit
not
quite
score.
deep.
He does not score. I don't think he scored this season, but he has a lot of assists. He has fantastic shot creation numbers. All of the key stats that you want from a creative midfielder, and he was a star player for the England under 21s in the summer.
Exactly.
And that's really, really important because what is the under 21 team for if not a pipeline into the first team?
yeah.
And if you excel there, you should get a move straight up. And I think that was one of Foden's issues, is he didn't go through that. He kind of skipped from under 17s to the senior team.
But so did Mainu.
And I think you need that bedding in period.
Yeah.
And then my other one as a Gallagher backup is Ross Barkley.
Oh, yeah,
Ooh,
okay. He's deserved a mention. I think he's definitely earned his inclusion in A list.
Not a lone 6, but I think in that 2 pivot role, I
He's
think against
moved a lot
Rice,
deeper recently, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. But if you look at like how Arsenal play, he could be that Jorginho next to
better than
your
Jorginho.
Declan Rice. I think in that sort of 3 system that would work that way.
Cool.
But yeah, and then attacking mids, I've got Maddison and Foden. I've
Okay.
got Foden.
I'm going to jump in now because I've not made a boo boo actually. No, I'm backing my options, but like there's a big name that I've not put in.
Right.
So let's start with the DMs. So Rice gets in obviously, and Mainu is his backup. Again, I didn't think Mainu would pop with numbers, so I didn't think I could put him in.
Yeah.
But actually, in terms of being defensive with his defensive duels and interceptions, as well as being good with his through passing, progressive passing, and aerial duels. Sorry, accurate passing and through balls. He is right up there alongside Rice. Not quite as defensive, although he does get a few more interceptions, but very creative with his through passing and very accurate with his passing. So a good option in there. Central midfielders, Gallagher starts for me. In terms of ball box to box, we need to be balanced. We cannot be caught out on the counter attack here. If we're having someone like Rice sitting and being that distributor from deep, we need someone who's going to progress the ball. So he's going to pick it up from the defensive midfielder and then move the team up the pitch and allow that transition where the DM will then drop off, the fullbacks will bomb, the wingers will cut in, and he will start that transition by making that run from the edge of the area to the edge of the opponent's area. That run, which Gallagher will do perfectly. His backup is Angel Gomez.
Oh, you haven't?
Yeah, I've got him in as well.
You got him as well.
Because again, his irrespective of league, as long as they're in top 5 European leagues and the Champions League, fine. In terms of that
Says
again,
the
that
man
ball
who put Kyle
progress,
Walker-Peters in the championship. You literally just...
it counts for last season's numbers as well, in all fairness. But Gomez will do that job again. He's played as 10, he's played as a 6, so he has that ability to know where players are going to be, as well as having the key stats to move us up the pitch. And I also think he could do the Rice role as well. If you wanted to swap him and Mainu, you could do that. And I think he'd probably be okay. Very technical, but Angel Gomez has got a bit of a bite on him as well. Like his interception numbers are reasonably high, and Mainu has got a good tackle on him as well. So if you needed to do a swap, you could do.
Yeah.
Attacking midfielders, Bellingham got in. Weirdly enough, and I don't know if it's because he didn't have enough minutes this season, although I think he's got more than 1,300 minutes. I think he has. I don't know. He didn't get in my list, but Maddison didn't get in my list.
Wow.
The man who got in, and special mention goes out here to Kieran Dewsbury Hall, whose numbers look fantastic.
Yeah, they do.
And Harvey Elliott, who again, not as a winger, as a 6 or an 8, as a ball progressing and a tackler, fantastic. I could see him moving very deep in his career. I think he'd be excellent there. The man who got in as a 10, Morgan Gibbs-White.
I had him really close.
His numbers look fantastic.
He just missed out for me.
Right up there with the same number, almost the same number of dribbles as Bellingham, same number of accelerations per game as Bellingham. Not as high as shots on target, but Bellingham's been playing as a attacking midfielder. More through passes per game and about the same final third entries. The man looked great.
And again, under 21s.
Under 21s. And if you look at the goal, I mean, I didn't see what time I seen him when he played against us. And he scored that banger. He's got a shot on him as well. Yeah. So from your 10 is supposed to basically be that creative option from outside the box, right? It's going to be that danger. He gets the ball and everyone's on edge a little bit because something could happen.
Yeah.
Basically a shadow striker, right? Yeah. So Bellingham obviously does that all the time for Madrid, but if he gets injured or anything, I think Morgan Gibbs-White is another player who can get you on your feet a little bit.
Please tell me Foden is in your attackers.
We'll talk about that later.
I bet there's no way he's not there.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, my midfielders, so I would probably start Rice, Gallagher, Bellingham, if I'm honest.
Okay.
Again, I just want to finally shout out Dewsbury Hall and Harvey Elliott. You were really close to getting in this team, but I just felt like I needed to have another 10 in there to back up, and I thought Gibbs-White was the best option in that particular position. But yeah, special shout out to those two.
All right, so I have basically 7 midfielders, but one or two of them can be like wingers, so to say, because I've not taken 3 strikers basically. I've only taken 2 strikers.
Yeah, I'm only taking 2 strikers. Yeah.
So Declan Rice is in CDM. I think.
I think that's guaranteed.
My starting 11, I'd kind of agree with Isaac though. I want to have a Declan. I think Bellingham can play a bit deeper, and Foden at a 10, because Foden at a 10 lately is insane.
But would you count a 10 in this City team as a traditional 10 though? Because it's not it's very free in what he's able to do. He can go wide, he can go central. He floats.
I would want him to play like that for England. I want the England wingers to be able to allow that, maneuver to allow Foden to drift out, and then they can come into the middle. Just to be a free flow of it.
Okay.
So I would want the same thing. Yeah, really, yeah.
So
Bellingham, so Declan Rice, Bellingham, Foden is who I would want to start with. Yeah. And then I've brought Maddison as a backup cam. Obvious reason, I think he's been fantastic. Yeah. Kobbie Mainoo as well, I have on the bench. I want him to get experience. I want him to grow and learn from this tournament.
Yeah,
no matter how we do. I think I agree he can play either as a replacement for Declan Rice, not the right for though. But I think I see him more as taking over if Bellingham needs a rest in that progressive midfield role. I think he can sit alongside Declan Rice really well, especially defensively if we need to defend. I've also brought Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Who is a different one, but I think he's a bit older now, has grown a bit, and you can see his numbers at Milan now doing better. I think him bringing the ball forward is something, like you said, that gap between where Declan Rice picks it up to the front line. Yeah, Gallagher can do very well as well. I've not brought Gallagher, which is surprising, but for the mere reason that we have enough players that can bring the ball up. Gallagher's not going to give that final pass or shot as much as you. I think Loftus-Cheek will do a better job at doing that final decision.
He just does it silkier.
I think he'll make a final decision.
And he was there. He was there in 2018.
He's been there
as a Crystal Palace loan player.
Yeah. Mental, but
he's had moments even with Sarri at Chelsea where he looked phenomenal. He got a bad injury. That's when he went to loan and everything. But he's now looking great again with AC Milan. So
good shout.
I brought him along because I thought you can do that role, bring the ball up, you can make a better final decision, I think, than Gallagher could.
Right. Cool. Yeah. So why don't you carry on and tell us who your forwards are? Because Foden can play wide if you need. Because
Foden can play wide if I need him to.
Yeah.
I am gonna say this is the hardest one because we have Saka, but I will say Palmer starts at right wing for me. Numbers wise, he's better than Saka this season. He changes the game for Chelsea. He's fucking carried our team, bro.
I think if you're playing Foden, you don't play Palmer. I think on the games where Foden is rested for Maddison, I think Palmer fits in much better.
Yeah, I can see that as well.
They both do very similar things, don't they?
And I think that's why we let Palmer go, because they were so close.
Yeah.
But I see.
But at the same time, have you guys really seen Palmer and Foden play that much? That's another question. You've not seen it, really. The City never really played it, really.
No.
So it's something I would like to see, though. Yeah. Because I think if they can link up well, bro, it could be fucking deadly.
Oh, 100%.
Both of them, either one of them, they just when they get the ball, it's just like something can happen. Like
they are the most
dangerous.
dangerous players in this England team.
And don't get me wrong, I rate Saka a lot. Like, if he could play left wing professionally, I would just put him at left wing because he's left-footed as well. Like, he could swing balls, and I would.
Crazy
But,
shout
like,
for left back. He has done it before.
No, left wing, not left back.
He's played left back before though.
Oh yeah.
So you could just
I mean,
slot
you
him in the
can,
left back.
Oh, if we do what I said, have the 3 centre backs, Trent pushing
Yeah.
up, Saka
Saka
on the left wing,
pushing
pulling
Yeah,
into
bro,
left
you
mid.
never know. Like,
Rotate it
Oh,
all.
mate,
you never know, bro. Like
crazy, man.
Grimaldo as well. Like,
Yeah.
he could play left
Yeah,
mid.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can see it, man. Saka left
Yeah.
wing back. You know.
Totally.
Mad.
Who's
Yeah.
your strikers?
Strikers, I've gone Harry Kane. I've also backup left wing. I've had
Oh, yeah,
as well. I do have Jack Grealish. He's my actually starting
Yeah.
right wing,
Okay.
left wing.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he's come back and he's played really well. We were
His
talking about
numbers
the other day. He's been
fantastic.
fantastic for City.
Yeah.
When he's come
He's
back.
control. He doesn't get the numbers, but the control that he
Yeah.
offers, which I think when you've got Kane is less important, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then if I said strikers, Ivan Toney and Kane. Ivan Toney,
Yeah.
I think overall is a striker. I think he's a better striker
the
than
full
Ollie
package.
Watkins.
Yes.
And penalties are another thing you need to take in consideration here. That's why I brought Ward-Prowse and Tony.
Mm.
If they're on the pitch in a final penalty shootout, I'm confident both of them are scoring.
Yeah.
As well as Harry Kane. There's
Almost
3
definitely.
penalties there,
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
basically in the bag on paper.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's kick on then. In terms of penalties, my backup striker is great at penalties, and he's also one of the top goal scorers in the league, and that's Ollie Watkins. His goals and assist numbers are fantastic, and Tony looked good since he's come back, but he's only just come back, and his numbers don't look that great. They're better than Watkins. Also, people keep saying that Tony's a better link-up player. Watkins has got the highest goal and assist numbers. He gets so many assists, and he's great at linking up that Villa team. And he can do that the same if you wanted to change things up and take Kane off.
I think the thing is I think Villa do have better quality players around
Yeah.
Watkins that can make
But
it
this
all
is
flow a
England.
bit better.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's Tony. Tony's doing it with Brentford team.
Tony has performed with England as well. better.
Exactly.
Mhm.
He has.
There's link-up play and then there's hold-up play
Yeah.
because he can do both. Watkins is very good at taking the ball, dribbling,
Yeah,
and then
he's
passing it
making
off.
the turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony is great, very, very comfortable on the ball. He's so quick, and his
Yeah.
positioning, he's unfortunately, if Hurling Carlin could pass,
You know
Yeah.
who he reminds me of is Ivan Toney. He's a bit like Nicholas Anelka.
Yeah.
Like that's
Mhm.
the kind of
Yeah,
player
I
he
reckon,
reminds me
yeah.
of, and
or
he's
even like a, dare I say it, a
Dude,
Drogba.
Yeah.
Destroyer, just
Yeah.
teams are scared
Yeah.
of Tony.
They are.
City are scared
But
of
I
Tony.
think if you need a hold-up player, I think Kane can do that absolutely
Yeah.
fine, and he is the most dangerous finisher in the world. So I think if
no,
you
but
want,
Kane's also super underrated for his passing, bro.
I think they
are
complement each
is
other well
brilliant
as
passer of the ball.
options, right? So I think if you have Kane, you have that pure finishing ability, that hold-up play, and if you have Watkins, you have that quick,
I've got
speedy
Watkins
dribble.
in there, but not as a striker.
Right,
I've got
okay.
Watkins as an inside forward,
Okay.
left winger, because he played there for Brentford
Yeah.
before. People really questioned his move to Aston Villa because he was not an out-and-out striker. He wasn't a 9.
No.
Mm.
He was a winger who was
Yeah.
moved into striker to facilitate Mbuemo and Ben Rama when he was at Brentford.
Yeah.
And he's just played very well as a 9, but he can play on the wing. And
He
I think
can.
if you have Kane there, dropping a bit deeper, and then you've got runs in from Foden, from Watkins, and from Saka.
Yeah.
I'd probably start Watkins. I'd have Grealish in there, but I'd probably start Watkins
I
on
mean,
the left.
I prefer having a traditional 10. I want to have, like I said, I want to have Bellingham in the 10. So obviously that meant Foden couldn't play there. But the way I see it working is that you've got Foden and you have Palmer, who are both great creators in that space.
Mm-hmm.
You have your fullbacks bombing forward, so they can just sit there free with Bellingham as the person making that run into the box.
Yeah.
These guys can be tricky in the centre. So Foden left, Palmer right. I think it works if you have traditional 10 in there like Bellingham.
Mhm.
If it's Foden in the middle, I don't think it does work because they're clashing.
Yeah.
But they're in 2 different spaces, so I think it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else is
Um,
in your team?
The backups are going to be left wing, Anthony Gordon. Pops
Okay.
up really well with the numbers as terms of both in crossing, although not as much as everyone else, but in terms of dribbling, accelerating,
His pace is
touches in the box, getting into the box.
Yeah.
He does it more than most other options at left wing. Rashford didn't come near,
No.
didn't get near,
No.
unfortunately.
No.
Of course not.
I would have only taken Rashford for the pace, and Gordon
Yeah,
has that,
exactly.
and also
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
committed
Yeah.
player.
And the
so-
backup right winger is obvious. It's Saka. I might start Saka. I'm tempted. I didn't with the numbers that I looked at before. Saka didn't look as good as Palmer. Now they look about the same. They've dropped a little bit. I probably, to stick with what I said before and to not look like a coward, I'm probably going to stick with Palmer. But they've evened out.
Not look like a coward.
They've evened out a bit. They've evened out. I'll say that.
Their ability to both of them to take control of the game
Yeah.
is key.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
we need. We need players who can step up.
Yeah, 100%.
Um,
Totally.
Yeah.
yeah.
So why don't we go around and just quickly summarise?
Lloyd hasn't given his
I'm
attack.
going to shut up.
I'm going to rattle through mine quickly. Foden and Grealish on the left. For me, Foden starts. Kane and Tony up top.
Right.
Kane starts. Saka starts over Palmer for me any day of the week. I think he is a far more experienced player at the highest level.
Yeah.
He's done it for England as well. I mean, in all those matches, he scored in big games. I mean, Bayern, for example, last night, he scored a big goal. And he could have had a big penalty in the last minute, but that is a story for another time.
Yeah, let's not get into that right now. But cool. So let's quickly just go, as I was trying to say, sorry.
Summarise it all.
That's all right.
Go around and just summarise your starting 11s and then...
Right, and then...
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll go this side round.
Yeah.
Pickford. And then we've got Kyle Walker, John Stones, Harry Maguire, and Trippier.
Okay.
And then Declan Rice, Bellingham, Foden, and then Kane, Grealish, Saka.
Cool.
Yeah. Solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pickford, Shaw, Stones, Tomori, Trent. I would have, who did I say midfield three? Rice, Maddison, Bellingham, and then Foden, Saka, Kane. That's my 11.
Cool. Daniel?
Yep. I will have Pickford in goal, Trent right back, and then Stones, Colwill, Shaw. Declan Rice, Bellingham, Foden, then Palmer, Grealish, and Harry Kane.
Yep, cool. And my final team will be, do I say it? No, we'll go with Nick Pope as it's the goalkeeper. Trent at right back, Shaw at left back, centre back pairing of Colwill and Stones, a midfield three of Rice, Gallagher, Bellingham, and then a forward line of Foden on the left, Palmer on the right, and Harry Kane, obviously the captain, starting up front.
All different teams.
Very different teams, and I think it would be interesting to find out, wouldn't it, boys?
Which team would do best?
Which team would do best in an actual scenario? So, coming very soon, I'm not sure if it's going to be on this channel or potentially a new gaming channel, we haven't decided yet. We're going to pit these teams to the test in a Football Manager save where we go against each other and just see which team would come out on top. And we'll simulate it and we'll see what would happen using each of our own specific tactics as well. And that will be coming very, very soon after this podcast comes out. So we'll try and do an announcement as to a date when we know when it will be coming out. But keep an eye on your sub box and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And also if you go down and there's feature channels, there should be a gaming channel there. Go and sub to that one as well to make sure you don't miss out on that amazing video that's coming very, very soon. But I just want to thank you guys for joining me for today's episode. Thank you, Isaac,
Henry.
Lloyd, Dan.
Anytime, bro.
It was super fun. And we'll see them all again for part 2 of this little series.
Who's winning it? Who's winning it?
Oh, me, obviously.
Got to back
I'm
themselves.
Everyone's
backing themselves.
I'm a Football Manager guy.
Okay.
I play this game way too much. I know it.
Okay, well, thank you guys.
Right.
It's coming home, and we'll see you next week.
See you next time, boys.